Hi, my name is Farah Chen. I'm here at 2018 Canadian Science Policy Conference, and here joining me today is Nikki Berreth. She's a co-founder of Lit Science and Science Slam, and the owner of STEAM Communication and Events. So welcome, Nikki.
Thank you, Farah.
Thanks for sharing your time with us.
Yeah.
So I'd like to talk to you about your work on STEAM communication and events, Lead Science, and Science Slam. Like, why is it important, and what are some of the challenges?
So one of the reasons why we find these organizations are so important, or why I find that they're so important, is because we're really trying to reach and engage an adult population. And so a lot of the programs, I've worked in science centers for many years, and a lot of programs that are offered and a lot of funding that's out there really comes down to children. We're always sort of looking at, like, we want to get the next generation involved, which is amazing. I'm not saying we shouldn't do that,
Right.
but the main thing that we're finding is, while we keep looking to the next generation, it seems to be that we're kind of letting go of the current generation. And the current generation are the voters, they're the decision makers, they're the ones who can affect, whether we adopt a new policy or a new idea or a new science, like a new scientific research outfit, really comes down to the current generation. So these businesses were really created with trying to connect scientists with the general public or an adult audience right now. So that's really what fueled all of them.
So can you elaborate more on how this work relate to science policy?
Yeah, so with science policy, a lot of what comes about is funding. And so, like I said, when we're focusing on these adult programs, right now we're kind of just running on our own. We don't really get a lot of funding. We have one group for Science Slam Canada, which is Stem Cell Technologies, and specifically their outreach branch, which is their Science in the City article or newsletter that they have come out on a monthly basis. And they're the ones that we've applied to and have given us a small amount of funding to run our events. But for the most part, we rely on adults being interested enough to pay to come to one of our events, and that sort of funds everything. And that's the same with STEAM communication. And then Lit Science really comes down to administrators being like, we want our researchers and scientists to get more involved in science communication. We're going to hire these people to train them on how to do that. And so the funding that we get from them really comes through these programs, or funding opportunities come in, and they say, as a part of being able to apply and get it, you must do science communication and outreach, and you must have training for this group. So these people are like, well, we need to meet what we've said we would, and they call us in to do the training. And so that's sort of how we fit into science policy so far. We really would love to see more funding towards science communication for adults.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so here at the conference, you participated in a panel discussion, Improvisation for Science Communication.
Yeah.
So I know you do improv. And for viewers at home that also interested in improvisation, especially for science communication, but find improv a little bit scary,
Yeah.
what would you say to them to encourage them? Asking for a friend.
Yeah, asking for a friend, I like that. So a lot of people find improv to be very scary, and that's because, I have a bit of a theater background. I have a degree in both math and drama, so I get it. People come out and they think improv is going to be like this theater thing. You're going to have to go in, you're going to have to be like really creative, you're going to have to come up with something to say in advance, you're going to have to do all these things and put yourself out there in front of an audience that's just like waiting for you to entertain them. And that's not what improv is. Improv is all about embracing failure and listening. So you don't need to plan ahead, you don't need to be great at theater, you just need to be present where you are, listen to what other people are saying, and respond. And I feel like that's the most natural thing that humans can do. And improv is just trying to make you do that in more of sort of an immediate sense. So you need to think of something to say right away. And if you're going to sit there and just stare at someone for a bit, it's going to get uncomfortable. But people are also going to laugh about that. Because when you get stuck on something, people can relate to the fact that your brain's on a mini vacation while you're trying to think of something. So improv doesn't need to be scary, but if you are interested in trying it, every single city I've ever been in has some sort of improv drop-in group, or maybe even like an improvisation 101 with a theater group, and they have someone who's like comes out, they're like really keen on being silly and playful, and they just run you through activities with groups of other people that also are probably scared of improv. So you just go there, you have some fun, you be silly, you make mistakes, and you laugh about them. So you can do that very simply, like, you know, open up Google or Yahoo or whatever you use, type in improvisation and whatever your city is, and then just see what comes up and check through it. You can also message them and say, I have some questions, I've been interested in improv. You could even tell them you're scared, and they're so used to it, you know?
I think my friend might be convinced. So one final question.
Yeah, okay.
What do you see as the greatest value of the CSPC?
So CSPC has been really good to us in the fact that the last 2 years, and we've been told this by one of our people this year, she was like, you know, when you're applying for CSPC as a panel, one of the things they ask for is originality. And she was like, one of the reasons we accepted you last year and this year is because your panel proposal was like definitely getting away from just people sitting up front. So CSPC has been fun for us because we really like to break people out of their molds. And we find a conference where, you know, people have the idea of policymakers, of like, you know, being in a suit and coming here and listening and being very respectful and whatnot. And then we come into a panel and we're like, forget all of that. Like, let's play games and get crazy. And so it's been a lot of fun that way. And for us, it's really been about exposure. We're trying to get our ideas out there and get people on board with them, and adopting Science Slam Canada in their own cities, or, you know, trying to find science communication opportunities, training opportunities in their cities. Or for STEAM communication, it's just Vancouver based. But for us, we just like want more funding towards adult engagement techniques. So CSPC has really introduced us to people that make that happen. And so we're so grateful of, like, you know, I have probably a suitcase full of business cards of people I need to contact when I get back. So I'm really grateful to be here this year.
Well, we're happy to have you, Nikki.
Thank you.
So thank you for your time and sharing your experience with improv and for science communication.
Yeah.
For viewers at home, we want to learn more about you and your work. Where can we go online? Perhaps your website, LinkedIn, or social media?
Yeah. So if you're interested in looking into any of our initiatives, Science Slam Canada is really well known. You can find us on Facebook. Just type in Science Slam Canada. We post all the events that are happening across the country. So far, we're in Vancouver, Calgary, Halifax, Ottawa, soon to be London, Ontario, and Edmonton. And we're growing city by city, so keep an eye on that. Or if you want to run your own Science Slam, you can also contact us. We do have a website, which is scienceslam.ca. For lit science, if you're looking for researchers or you know, training opportunities, you can find us online at litscience.ca. And STEAM communication and events, it is only Vancouver based, so if you're interested in attending one of our events while you're visiting Vancouver, you can also find us on Facebook, STEAM communication and events, and you can check out our Facebook page to see whatever upcoming events we have next.
All right, Nikki. So thank you for your time. I hope you
Thank
enjoy
you.
the rest of the conference here.
I will. Thank you very much.